Good afternoon. My name is Gintare and I am a PhD student from Vilnius University in Lithuania. Today I want to present you a part of my research of my PhD thesis. The topic under examination is the psychological dynamics and coping mechanisms of women involved in Islamic polygamous marriages. And at the beginning, a little bit about the term. So, polygamy means being married to multiple people at once. Polygamy is divided into polygyny, one man, many wives, and polyandry, one woman, many husbands. In a Facebook group discussing polygyny in Islam, most women still use a term polygamy. So I will use polygamy too, focusing on polygyny among Muslims. I will present you a study of one Facebook group which is closed, intended only for women who are in polygamous relationships or seek to be in them or are looking for co-wives for their husbands. The uniqueness of my research lies in its scope and methodology. Rather than being confined to a particular region or country, my research expands to encompass an online community of women from very diverse backgrounds, including those from the Middle East, from Europe, America as well, both native Muslims and converts. These women collectively navigate their challenges, fostering a shared space for problem solving. The research aims to identify common narratives and coping mechanisms that transcend their varied backgrounds and the strongly different social environments they originate from. This innovative approach can be named as virtual or cyber ethnography. So, virtual or cyber ethnography is a research methodology that adapts traditional ethnographic methods to study communities and cultures created through computer-mediated communication. This approach involves immersing oneself in the virtual culture and observing interactions on websites and within online communities. So cyber ethnography has emerged as a very effective tool for understanding the social dynamics of online spaces. In this piece of my research, I was focusing on the psychological impact of polygamy on women, especially in terms of cognitive dissonance and emotional distress. According to many studies, in polygamous relationships, women often find themselves bearing a significant emotional burden due to decisions made predominantly by men. This situation highlights a systematic issue of gender imbalance or lack of agency for women within these dynamics. Based on a Facebook group analysis, one of the most stressful topics is the introduction of a second wife itself. This often leads to other stressors such as women doubting their self-esteem, self-worth in relationships. And in the example, you can see a woman who started questioning if she's enough in the relationships, if her husband started searching for a co-wife. Another example is a little bit more complex and shows a different source of distress caused by intimacy and emotional connection with a co-wife. To put it in short, a husband told her wife he doesn't feel emotional connection with his second wife, but after reading messages between husband and a co-wife, the first wife learns that the situation is actually quite different and the messages are quite intimate. I have collected way more such examples, but simply due to lack of time, I presented only these two ones. But they revealed a general narrative from my research that the greatest stress for women is caused by show up of a second wife, which leads to self-deprecation. And the second narrative is husband's intimacy and emotional connection with his co-wife, which leads to jealousy and overall questioning a husband's feeling for the first wife. However, instead of discussing these questions, problems of distress with their husbands directly, these women still stay in polygamous relationships and just ask other women for support and for questioning how to deal with the stress caused by polygamy. To put it in short, women focus on dealing with the symptoms, which is stress, rather than understanding and resolving the root cause of the problem that led to the stress. In order to understand the roots of this phenomenon and to gain a deeper understanding of the advice of women experiencing similar feelings, I applied cognitive dissonance theory. This is a psychological concept that explores the discomfort or tension people feel when they hold two or more contradictory beliefs. So going back to my research on polygamy, cognitive dissonance is a result of basically two statements. First is that the women accept polygamy as Islamic practice, which she initially viewed as appropriate and unquestionable. This could be the answer why women do not questioning the situation and polygamy itself that caused stress. Well, because it is a correct, fair religious practice per se. As it is put in the comment, it is halal, and that's it. So this was one belief. The second belief that makes a resonance is the existence of a co-wife and intimate bond shared between a husband and the co-wife. This discomfort motivates people to resolve conflicts between two situations. And from the entire discussion in this thread, two central themes emerge. Firstly, create a separation from the knowledge of the second relationship and all its associated details. Being short and simple, ignore and forget about the existence of the co-wife. The second perspective involves viewing polygamy from a religious standpoint. Polygamy, as I argued, is seen as a right religious practice per se and could be interpreted through the lens of the effort justification paradigm, which is a tool to alleviate cognitive dissonance. In short, the cognitive dissonance could be lessened when the reward for suffering in the act compensates for the dissonance. So, the effort justification paradigm proposes that when individual invests significant efforts into a cause, in this instance polygamous relationships, they can rationalize these circumstances and view the outcome as more valuable. So this could potentially explain why some women stay devoted to these relationships despite experiencing negative feelings. To conclude, the psychological dynamics and coping mechanisms of women in Islamic polygamous marriages can be really complex. Women often face cognitive dissonance between accepting polygamy as an Islamic practice and dealing with the emotional discomfort of sharing their husband. Coping strategies primarily involve managing stress rather than addressing root causes, leading again to a significant emotional distress. These findings underline the need for more support and resources for women in these situations. So thank you again for listening to me, and you are welcome for questions.